Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Pepper's here, and we're already broadcasting Pepper, so don't say anything bad.
Well, I figured Bill was just complaining because he started wearing glasses out of his computer, and he was like being oily and having to wear glasses is not a good.
Not a good.
And I'm like, my whole spiel is I've been wearing glasses for like forever, so
We can complain, but not for too long, huh?
exactly. You getting all set up for load in today?
Painting. Load-ins tomorrow.
Uh, load in's today. I thought.
I mean, not unless something's changed. Load-in was tomorrow morning at 9. Or at 9.
Oh yeah, that's right. If you don't have anything, okay. I read the email, so load in can be today. There's actually a line in the email that was like,
Yeah, but I don't have anything major.
yeah. You mean you
These
don't
are
have
not.
the yellow prints?
Yeah, I got prints, so that's actually why I'm late.
Ah,
Is because the prints took forever and they weren't ready, and I had. So you have to submit to the printer before 2, and I submitted at 2:03. So they, they moved it to the next day by technicality.
mm,
So it was going to be ready by 6 o'clock tomorrow night. And I'm like, no.
gotcha.
They were nice. They went on ahead and just printed it right now because there was actually nobody there and nothing going on, and you know nothing major happening. So yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. I got these gloves because they were the only gloves I could find, but they are way too stiff. I don't think I can paint with them. I don't think that's gonna work. I think it's cute, but I need a glove to hold these guys. But so we've got ourselves what we were working on all week, which is great. I got a baby Yoda,
I
and
got. I am currently doing.
I've got a replacement stitch that
Nice.
allows me to fix the stitch problem where he's missing a leg. Because he's only missing a leg because, hello, Brent. He's only missing a leg because the background, he's supposed to be behind the background, but no matter which way you look at it, it just always looked weird. So
Gotcha.
and so putting these guys over here. These just got printed, so we're going to. You just photo dumped, huh? Apparently,
Me or Brent?
you, as in somebody was observing that you have photo dumped. I won't
Oh
name
yeah.
names.
Well, okay. So yesterday, what? Yes, yesterday was the launch of the next thing that I worked on for the video game,
Right.
like the official card stuff. Not the video game, the card game. So yeah, I did. Yeah, I did that to Instagram. Um, and if you followed along, I also like highlighted the other artists that were on the
Involved.
team in my reels. Well, not the reels, the stories, not the reels.
Uh huh. I didn't follow along because I'm slammed and trying to get work done.
Well, I'm trying to
So
get work
I
done
am.
too. Like, I don't want to have like a whole bunch of stuff on my mind while I'm at the convention.
Right.
Um, I mean, I know I'm gonna have stuff on my mind, but yeah,
I'm going to have stuff on my mind right now, which is George going to jump up here and attack my brushes while they are out and about. That's the thing on my mind right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, I think that's totally acceptable, man. Don't worry about it. I think you're fine. Doing fine. Trying to get everything organized. I'm not succeeding. I had a little water bottle for mixing with paints. And the problem that I've got is said little water bottle has moved to somewhere else. The problem with that is that said little water bottle probably still has water in it. Which could prove to be, entertaining. There's the water bottle. And it does, in fact, still have water in it. There, little water bottle full of little water. And the cat is in the sink. Which is all right. He can be in the sink all he wants. All right. All righty. So, okay, how you doing over there?
I am trying to find a background for the card that I'm currently on. And I can't show any of the process, obviously.
Man, you are boring to have on the show.
Well, I am so sorry. There's nothing I can do. Like.
Mm-hmm. All right. I actually cannot read anything, so let's bring up YouTube again. I don't know what anybody's saying. Let's not bring up YouTube. What are we doing? I don't understand. I don't speak Apple-ese, and so all of a sudden it's decided not to bring up YouTube. Okay. And it has a little weird thing on it. Weird. It's installing YouTube. What does that mean?
That means that you didn't have YouTube on your device.
Yeah, except that I used YouTube on this device literally the last time that I was on here. That's literally what it does. This thing only does YouTube. That's all it did. Oh, for crying out loud. We got to start all over, huh? Crap. Oh, he had me all selected, and now it's doing the, would you like to watch all these videos? No, I just need to log into me. Oh, for crying out loud. And of course, none of the things on here are your subscriptions.
Right.
Like, subscriptions are this little teeny button in the bottom right-hand corner, so far away, and you can't find it. Okay. Full screen. And hopefully I can now. All right. You think you know who the Borg Queen is? I'm pretty sure I know who the Borg Queen is too, and I think I'm pretty sure because of last night's episode.
Wait, the Borg Queen's back?
See, you need to catch up.
What? Like, in my mind, she died in Voyager.
There's a different Borg queen. The
Oh,
Borg make new queens.
oh, that's true.
I mean, Alice Krieg was a different queen too.
Yeah. Well, also at the same time, I have to remind myself that Jerry Ryan, as Seven of Nine, she did plug herself in as a queen
Yep,
in the first season.
in the Queen's chamber.
Yep. To help out everyone that was all the Borgs that were there on the cube.
Yep. Yep. Well, that
Which,
particular individual has had a interesting, tumultuous run.
well, I'm happy that they brought her back. I mean, I liked the character, but I mean, her previous storyline, the story did revolve around her quite a bit for a while.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah. It was definitely a thing. So I'm going ahead and clean my brush off. Give it the brush off here. And we'll go to a smaller brush. That's not a smaller brush. That's not a smaller brush either. This is a smaller brush. Go in here and just tap into these little tough sections to get into. But I'm actually pretty. All the twists and turns they're putting in this particular season of Picard, some good stuff. But I was glad to have caught on to the supervisor. That was cool.
mm,
I'm going to leave it like that. I knew exactly who she was connected to. And it was the smoke transporter that got me. I knew right away. I was like, I know where that's from.
mm.
I think my kid is up.
Is
Here.
he still on vacation?
No, it's another pseudo contact day or something. I don't know. I don't understand. It feels like he's got more days off than I do, but I think really what's happened is they've just they've been looping all of the days together in a
Mm-hmm.
more logical way. When I was a kid, they just you just had days off and that was just the way it went. And if it was a Wednesday, that's fine. We just accepted it. And now I think they move all the days so that they are um, in a unit and together. There we go. It's one down. Getting much faster with this, although that was a stitch, so I wouldn't expect it to be like that complicated. This one's going to be a much harder one.
The front door is open.
And it's going to happen a lot, I think. There we go. That's going to be a little bit more. Right. I probably don't want pranks today at school. I guess that's true. Having April 1st as a day off is not a bad idea, relatively speaking. Get a big brush, but man, this brush needs some water in it. Scoop a lot on here for this guy. He's gonna need a lot of paint. So, what is Pepper working on today?
I'm working on a card.
You're working on a pilot? What?
I'm working on a card, and I'm trying to figure out the background for it.
Oh, yeah.
So unfortunately, I'm sorry I'm quiet, guys. I really am.
It's all right. I'm painting cells, which is not exactly the most, talkative process that I have on my plate either. Okay, I gotta go kill George. Hang on. I know you want to figure out what's going on with the cells. Leave them alone.
Oh, I thought George wanted to go outside. That's why your front door opened.
No, people are going in and out of the front door because both my wife and my son are home today, right now. So they're both doing normal things. Normally, there aren't that many people here. That's why you were also probably hearing my wife brushing her teeth. So,
I don't hear that.
oh, good. This microphone sometimes picks up stuff, and then sometimes it doesn't, and I have no idea. Uh-oh. Where'd that come from? Okay. Pest has gotten into my Kudo supplies. That's nice. So this morning has been kind of a rough morning for me. I went to go pick up these cells from Office Depot, and since I had put the order in at 2 o'clock, they said they couldn't have it ready for me until Saturday. So but I went to talk to the guys at Office Max, and they actually might be able to make me a banner by this afternoon. I went in there and looked at their banners yesterday, and it said starting at $17 or $18, I guess. And that was cool, but then it was like, then as soon as you clicked on it, it said, so that'll be $40. And I'm like, wait, what? And when I went there today, the guy was like, oh, yeah, well, it defaults to outdoor protective, whatevers and stuff. So I was like, oh, yeah, no, I don't need an outdoor protective. I'm doing an artist alley. So
yeah, especially if you're doing it like for like the commercial printers, if you're doing that type of stuff and you want to get it through like the company, a lot of the times what will happen is like you will get like a price and it seems very inflated, unfortunately.
yeah, we don't need that big of a banner. We'll upload our own design, but we need to make one quick change to the canvas here. 19.2 and 20 inches. Because reasons, and I have no idea why. They do 1.6 size. So I'm like, okay, whatever, guys. So we'll do 1.6 size. That's fine by me. So anyway, this is what I am going to put as a banner on my table. G.S. Davis Art, finally crafted worlds and cells. Classically trained cartooniologist. My wife hates whenever I use cartooniologist, but I love the name.
Well, most comic book artists are classified as a cartoonist.
Yeah, but I like cartooniologist because it sounds like I'm a scientist of some sort. And it's stupid.
So you're trying to fulfill a fantasy of your childhood. Got it. Sorry.
Totally. I mean, why are we artists if not that? Right? But I promised the guy that I would get this going right away. Because if I didn't do it now, he wasn't sure he could roll it today.
Understandable.
So okay, we'll roll this, get started, upload from my device. Now he's explained to me how this works. Things are a lot better because what he was saying was it just defaults to the wrong size.
Gotcha.
And so, or the wrong, not the wrong size. I don't really talk well while I'm trying to do these things. So, okay, polypropylene, please. So that makes it $17.99. There we go. Power tabs? What are power tabs? Yeah, because it defaults to Scrim, which is tear and water resistant, allows for durable indoor use or roughly 6 months of outdoor use. I'm like, I don't really need that. For power tabs, okay. Uh-huh. 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 I'm just doing this real quick.
Okay.
And see if there's any kind of sorry, I'm putting in my credit card number, so I'm gonna be, not talking about things here. Or not publishing it.
It's totally okay.
Weird, I know.
Sorry, I'm looking up color code.
That's all right. I'm just doing this real quickly because I promised him I would do it right away. There we go. All right. So $20 for a banner is totally acceptable. So I'm going to make my banner orange because I have an orange tablecloth. So the banner will match the tablecloth, and I have black as the under tablecloth. So that will match both of those. I really should wash my orange tablecloth though, because it's a mess. But that's okay. You know what I need to do is not do this. I need to do this. Hang on, I'll be right back. You know what's worse than getting a paper cut?
Washing your hands when you have a paper cut.
And rubbing paint into it, apparently. That's what I'm doing now. Good job, me. That hurt a lot. Oh, well. It's a thing. It's a thing. I'm apparently trying to kill myself. It's all good. All right. All right. Okay, so what's your plan for this week, my friend?
My plan for this week coming up is to stretch myself as thinly as possible in order for me to have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, see, that's a bad plan. I disagree with this plan. So, how do we fix that so you don't have that?
I think I'm just gonna just try to do what I can type deal. Um, I think I'm just gonna try to do as much as I can. I've been very busy this week. Next week, I'm definitely gonna take an ease back on assignments.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy as well, and I'm going to probably relax and slow down a little next week. We've been through a couple of these conventions now, and next week will be. There's no further conventions for the year planned. That doesn't mean I won't do them. There's none planned,
Right.
and so I think I'm going to go calmer next week as well, and then cool down. I'll probably still work on stuff like illustrations for Airship 27 and stuff like that, but I intend to not stress as much. I've been super stressed. And so it's been very, very stressful trying to get to these conventions. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I will slow down quite a bit. So there's that.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to
Burn out
slightly.
too. Starting to definitely feel the burnout. There is no reason for you and I to burn ourselves out. So Looks a little water fasty here. Which may mean I need thicker paint to get out on this area. Yeah, it's being definitely more water fasty than usual. That's not good.
Are you talking about the paint you're using for your cells?
I'm just talking about. So I went to Office Max instead of going to Kinko's. So we don't know whether whether their transparencies are different. Whether that makes a difference, it may not. It may mean nothing. But whatever is the story, kind of want to check it. But I'm noticing beading on here, so I'm noticing that some of the cells are beading up a little bit, or some of the paint is beading up. So I'm going to try thicker paint for it. Thicken out the paint a little bit more.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So, yeah, I'm just noticing a lot of beading going on here. That's all.
That's fine.
York. Let's see what happens now. I'll go down a brush. Okay. Now let's see what we get. I mean, I didn't know whether we'd get a difference in cell capability between the two or not. Going from Kinko's or FedEx or whatever you want to call it to Office Max, would I get a different brand of cells? Would they act differently? These seem to be still holding the paint, but I am getting retreating from side to side here. I'm noticing that it's retreating.
You may have actually accidentally gotten the wrong type of cells.
Oh, maybe.
Because what it sounds like is you got the transparency cells for teachers.
What? That doesn't even make sense.
So transparency cells were used by my teachers for overhead projection. So they're suitable for a high density light being shown on them all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have a type of coating on them to make them like basically reusable. And some paints don't enjoy that. Some paints actually rather hate that. So it's one of those things of that's what it keeps sounding like.
And maybe you're right. I don't know. In the
grand scheme of things, I could be wrong.
Well,
I'm not lying.
You're not lying. I hate when people do that. When like people are wrong and they say you're lying. No, lying implies maliciousness. Like, haha, I'm going to tell you now that Bill doesn't love you. That's lying. That's a bizarre thing to say. It's a lie, you know.
But you're right. Bill doesn't love me.
But I mean, like, that's an outright lie. It's designed to be malicious. If I say, I think that aliens have visited Earth, that's not a lie. That's just misunderstanding or maybe a belief system that's wrong, or, you know what I mean? Like,
Or the fact that you don't believe in aliens.
or the fact that I don't believe in aliens. Yeah, this is going to be hard to do. It is beating up quite a bit here and retreating. I think I'm going to have to use direct paint instead of watered down paint because the water seems to be part of what's making it bead, which is fine. We're just going to go through a lot of paint for this, which also is fine. That's why I charge a lot for these.
I should hope so.
There's nothing worse than a PBCAC issue. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. Did
Don't
you just say what I think you said, or did
Yes.
What did you say?
Totally had a PBCAC issue. All right.
I didn't realize you had Phoebe Cat issues.
I do.
mean, Drop Dead Fred wasn't good enough for you.
Right? Well,
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, is that like basically what you want her to do from now on?
It's what I've always wanted secretly.
I liked her in Drop Dead Fred.
Oh, PEBCAC is how it's pronounced. If we're going to mock it, let's mock it correctly. Says Brent. Mock it, do it right.
Well, I'm not mocking what you're talking about. I'm mocking on how you presented it.
Right, you're mocking me. There's a difference there. An absolutely acceptable difference, I might add. See there. Problem exists between keyboard and chair. Oh, I get it. It's an ID10T problem. Okay, so I'm going to leave the little lights transparent, which should be cool. Which is actually pretty easy to do since everything retreats. There we go. It just means that I'm probably going to have to put down a secondary coat. Which I didn't really want to do, but okay. But that's okay. We'll get there. I mean, these big cells anyway should probably have a secondary coat. Because otherwise they're somewhat transparent anyway. And they're transparent in a non-attractive way. So they end up being kind of ugly because you can see the brush strokes through it when you shine light through it and stuff. So I got to go out to Michael's tonight anyway and get more cool paper for backgrounds. I think that adds some real character to these.
Get the shiny stuff.
Yeah, I love putting shiny stuff behind these.
I know you do.
Yep. That's one of those things. I love
The
sparkly stuff.
shiny.
I've always loved sparkly stuff. And you end up with some weird problems with people, I've noticed.
Me or you?
No, just in general. Like, I keep thinking about things like we had transgender and non-binary day yesterday, right? No problem. Obviously, I have a non-binary in my family,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not a big issue. So but then I'm talking to people about this, and I keep thinking about how part of the problem that we have is that other people just really cannot stand when other people don't conform, and so they humiliate and stuff like that when people don't conform. And I've been thinking a lot about that recently. It's about like non-conforming. So like in the old days, it was homosexuals don't conform, so we humiliate homosexuals. And now it's
I have seen old commercials about that.
yeah.
They weren't told to conform. They were told you have a mental disorder
Well,
and you need to be
I
fixed.
think we're going off what I'm trying to kind of get at, because though that's definitely true, it was far worse with homosexuals because they also killed them,
Well,
which is
no,
not a matter of
non-binary,
confirmation.
but non-binary and trans people actually were treated the same way.
Yes, let me get to the end of my thought before you start poking holes in it.
I want to
Anyway,
poke holes now.
I know, except that I never get to finish my thought, which is we do that even to straight people. That's what I was trying to get at. Was it occurs to me that I like bright colors and I like glitter and I like things that shine and things like that. And the number of times that people have told me, "Oh, so you're gay," or "Oh, so you're Mexican," or I don't even know where they're coming up with this weird, but the idea was never it wasn't a funny ha. It was definitely a stop doing that and conform. Even to,
Yeah.
and I'm just a normal straight white guy, like I'm not even out of I'm not even out of the norm in the cultural sense.
Yeah.
That's why I
No.
was saying
Yeah.
that's why I was saying my point, though, and I'm not trying to detract from the point that homosexuals were killed and non-binary were killed and transgender are killed, and that wasn't the point. The point I was trying to get at was I was realizing this is like part of a bigger problem that's all across the spectrum, even on straight white guys. Um,
I hate to.
because
Yeah.
because I mean, like that's part of this whole thing is like I just realized that too. I'm like I've been kind of quiet about liking colorful things and stuff like that because I didn't want to be called gay or whatever was the bad word du jour this week. You and I have talked before about how in the 80s that was a slur against straight people.
Mm-hmm.
Calling them gay was definitely a slur against straight people. Like you don't want to be like one of them, sort of things. Whereas now it'd be like, well, that doesn't bother me at all. I don't know why you're, trying to get a rise out of me on that. That's not going to work. But
Well, I mean, it's a very
it's an unpleasant discussion topic, and I
yeah.
didn't really mean to bring it up to be unpleasant. So
No, it's fine.
apologies.
Like I'm not like I'm not saying that like I don't want to talk about it or anything like that. It's just it's because like on my Instagram profile I do have like he, they, and him, them
Yep.
on there. Um, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like I just do that because it's not that I don't like I'm not deciding. It's the fact that like that's just on how I feel.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Um,
me too. I mean, that's so. Yeah, the whole point here was not to detract from the problems that occurred.
yeah,
The whole point was the realization that this is the way our culture seems to do things, which is to humiliate and annoy people until they finally conform to whatever you think is right.
and then you have those same people that do that that basically complain that the people who are asking not to be called that and be more comfortable with like another type of thing, basically they're the ones that force you to conform to them and but say that you're trying to conform them to you.
Yeah,
So it's like
that's definitely been something I have experienced a lot of in my life,
yeah,
because I am secular and non-religious, and the number of times that I've had to do something because it's a religious requirement, and then turn around and have the religious people say, "You people are trying to ruin religion." And I'm like, trying to force us to conform. I'm like, actually, we don't care. Like, literally, don't care. We don't care what you do. We don't care what you're up to. It's totally fine. You can do whatever you want. Just stop making me do what you want.
yeah, right.
That's all. I didn't even mind, because then they'll say things that are really weird, like, "Why do you celebrate Christmas?" I'm like, "Because it's fun and there's gifts and stuff." I don't know. I never
It's a
really thought it was that
normal.
complicated.
Well, it's kind of like when people find out that me and Bill like Bill's a Buddhist and stuff like that, and you've been to my house, you see like my little tiny shrine and stuff in my home. We still celebrate Christmas because, well, let's be realistic. We grew up with Christmas.
Sure,
There,
Christmas is fun.
Christmas is just part of how we grew up. That is the culture that we grew up in.
Well, and it's even
Uh,
not just that. My best friend's Jewish, so we're going to go over to Seder here in just a little bit. I'm not Jewish at all, but food, I'll take free food.
yeah,
And we always get to read the little book thing that talks about like the Exodus from Egypt, and I think
the
that's a lot of fun because we try to read it as like dramatically as we can. You know,
well, clearly you're not reading it in Hebrew.
no, we're not reading in Hebrew. I can't do that thing. Um, but it's become, in that instance, it's become my family tradition with him.
Yeah,
Um, So, it's one of those things. It's like a family tradition with him, but I'm not even remotely Jewish. And he doesn't care. You know what I mean? And he's not even really religiously Jewish. He is culturally Jewish.
yeah.
So he only celebrates it because it's part of the culture, but he himself is pretty secular as well. And so it's it's just a thing. It's funny how that mom used to my mom used to make a comment about, "You most hate in other people that which you need to change in yourself." And I've modified that. I called that my mom's razor because I can usually sense it whenever but I've modified it to say, "You are most irrationally mad at other people that which you need to change in yourself." My mom. So, but I mean, because she was right, but I think you need to add irrational. Like, if you came over and I don't know, if you came over and like peed on my floor, I'd get mad. That makes sense, right?
Well,
But if
first
you
of all,
came over,
I would ask myself, why did I just do
why
that?
did I just do that? But that makes total logical sense. That's a faux pas. So if I got mad about that, that makes sense. But what uh, what I think happens is not that. It's you come over and you put the fork on the left side of the plate or something like that instead of the right side, and or vice versa. And I get really upset about that and kick you out of my house and yada yada yada. Then you'd be like, remarkable overreaction for a very minor infraction. And then you'd realize that when I come over to your place, I never put the forks in the right place and I never do, you know what I mean? Then you'd be like, oh, I get it.
Well, actually, surprisingly enough, I have actually done something like that. I had a roommate that we had. I had a lot of pots and pans that I brought with me um, when I was in college, and some of those pots and pans you are not allowed to use metal cookware on.
Right? Because they were Teflon or something.
Right.
We have to
Right.
do the same thing because we've got a few pots and pans that are susceptible to metal.
Right. Unfortunately,
Your roommate didn't
um,
catch on?
the person who I was living with at the time didn't quite understand why I kept getting upset, and everyone was like, "Oh," because I lived with like three people, and everyone knew I kind of like when I got upset about something that was like taught to me as a social norm. Um, I had a problem like actually conveying it nicely at that time.
Right,
Um,
right.
and
As
folks,
most ADD-esque people do.
well, no, this was more of like an autistic spectrum,
Right,
like
I know. But we
level
are
of
all autistic spectrum.
problems.
It's just a matter of how autistic you are.
hmm
We have issues
So,
with that social grace.
yeah, so basically, like one of my friends actually had to explain why I was getting upset.
But
Unfortunately,
that's
um,
not what that's a perfectly reasonable reason to get upset.
no,
Um,
well, no, not to the level that I did though.
well, maybe not. I mean, it depends on whether you had to pay for those. Did you have to buy those?
No, they were gifts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but replacing them is still a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Um, which everyone's like, well, you could have just gotten new ones. And I'm like, I could have, yes, but I was a poor college student at the time.
That's what I mean. Is like you can, but it's going to cost you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I basically was like, well, yeah, sure, I can do that. But, you know, um, yeah, that's, I don't like that. But yeah, anyways, we can continue on another topic.
I'm just painting cells as I oft do, as is my wont in life. If this works, though, I'm actually going to be pretty pleased. If I can sell these for like $40, that'd be great. I might actually up the price to 50 because it's 40 is two $20 bills. So it
hmm
might be a better choice. I also may have thinned my paint too much. There may be a happy medium because I'm noticing it holds if I get a sort of like a dam going for it. It holds pretty well.
A fill dam.
Yeah. Then I can put the paint in here pretty just sloppily and then let it just kind of ooze out. And it's not perfect. It's still kind of drooling back. But beep, beep, beep.
What is this?
It's me, as always.
No, me and Bill, we had a positive thing that happened this week. I'll get more information today, but it looks like me and Bill may be hired to do a presentation on Free Comic Book Day for a library.
Aw, that's cool.
So, it depends on what they say today. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I mean, it will work out however it's going to work out. So,
Yeah, but it's still cool,
yeah.
right? I'm
Yeah,
all about
it
this
is.
too. We
Like,
should
well,
celebrate these things.
yeah, last night it was like a little bit weird because like we were they were talking to me like I thought I was doing this by email and they're like, "No, let's do this by phone." I'm like, I don't know you very well. Getting back into like the whole um
Autistic spectrum problems.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um so,
Yeah, he's on a road trip.
yeah.
Also, hey, Pepper,
Mhm.
what about nights? How do you feel about working nights on the show?
Nights.
Yeah,
Well, seeming that I'm usually up till like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes because of insomnia, I have no problems.
I didn't think so. I went on ahead and signed back up at my driving school, and so I'll probably have um, a few weeks where I'll be working 9 to 5 at the driving school. So, but the more I talk to people, the more I'm like, I think everybody would like it better if I moved to a night show. Um, like Brian would be able to attend more if we were on a night show, and you at least don't care left or right as to whether it's a night show.
I mean, I will be realistic with you.
What?
Most of
You're
these
never
shows,
realistic with me.
well, no, I mean, most of the shows that about art, the way that we do them, I normally see them being broadcasted like later at night. Most of the time, these people have had their kids go to bed. This is like their cool down time to like basically do work and like work within their workflow late at night
Right.
and talk while they're doing it. So, I mean,
It would
switching
be
into
much
a
more
night,
normal for us to do it at night anyway.
yeah, it would
You're
be,
saying.
yeah, it would probably be a lot more normal.
Yeah, I've been kind of thinking about that too. I think that a nightly show also wouldn't have the problems that I've been running into where like today where I had to go to Office Depot
Hmm.
pick up stuff like these cells. So I'm thinking of moving the show starting when we get there. Yeah, art and drinks with Guy and Pepper
Hmm.
instead of coffee.
Although I won't be drinking. That's the
Well,
one thing
no,
I
but I think
won't
he's
do.
referring to the nighttime shift thing.
Yeah.
He's referring to night shift. So, yeah.
So I'm just now like doing that. I have like one more. I do have another thing I can do right now. I got 3 of my 5 assignments already done today. By today, uh, so like for me, I've had a really good week. Like if I could finish these 2 assignments before the weekend, It would be amazing. The only thing that's slowing me down. Oh, sorry that we didn't give you something for Twitch moderator appreciation day.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Hey,
Guy.
so I would like to appreciate my moderators, all one of them, Brent, my dear and beloved friend Brent. So there, I've appreciated my moderator. I feel like this is Brent spun up Twitch all of a sudden, and now he's noticed that, and he's like, "Hey, I'm the moderator." You're the only moderator. Yeah. I'm a little bit of a problem child, but not much. I feel like what I'll do is I'll come back through on all of these, and just retap them with some more paint, fresh paint, maybe just a little bit harder paint that's not quite so watery,
Mm-hmm.
and move these guys in a minute. Yeah. Okay, so Brent, what do you think? If we were to move at night, would you still be able to hang out with us? Or would things be too complicated at that point? I appreciate you hanging out with us every day more than, I mean, the moderation has been very, very useful and very good, and I really appreciate that a lot. But I want you to know that I value you more as a buddy than as my moderator. I mean, being my moderator is awesome and cool, and I really appreciate it. But I also feel like you are a cool dude, and I enjoy you being around. Which that would be cool. The only thing that bothers me is that I put out cards that said every day at 9 to 11. But you know what I could do with those cards is just cross out AM and put PM and just write PM on all the signs. And they would still be 9 to 11 PM.
Yep.
I think about things like Hone, though. I mean, like she, I'm not sure that it's a she. Hone might be a he. They will be, that'd be the middle of their day.
Well,
So
there you go. So I got that done and that done. Now I gotta wait for feedback. Okay, cool. So, all right, let me switch gears, and I think I can actually show you what I also have on the docket. So, I can show one thing.
Yeah, you work an awful lot on top secret stuff.
Well, I work on a lot of stuff that basically I have NDAs for, and unfortunately, it kind of puts a dampener on showing. But yeah. Anyhow, to let you all know, this is the new cover that I'm working on for.
Oh, I likes that cover. I think we talked about that.
Yeah. But the feedback was make the breasts larger.
Which I don't know if I was hot on that, but okay.
No,
I mean,
you
but it's not mine, so it doesn't matter what I think.
Well, the thing is like I'm trying to figure out on how to do it that looks respectful.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the problem I've got with anybody who says that I need to make larger breasts for my female characters. Is like, I mean, really, honestly, guys, women don't appreciate that. You know?
I'll be realistic. I've actually had people come up to me and say, tell me, like, give me suggestions. Like, I had like a suggestion thing at one point, and I was just like, yeah, if you have a suggestion for something for me to draw, sure, go right ahead. And someone like literally wrote on this thing at like one of my first conventions, going sex sells.
It does. You know what also sells? Doing other people's IPs. I
Yeah,
mean, both of those things sell. It also is not necessarily legal or good or,
yeah,
morally correct. Here I am literally doing Stitch um, and all kinds of stuff because, yeah, that sells. But on the same token, it's not morally a good idea. I would rather make a whole bunch of commission work, but I need to show that I can do commission work and that it will look
yeah.
good on the sell. So, I mean, does it sell? Yeah, sure. Absolutely sells. I think that the Neko bus will sell better than other things, speaking of things that are probably inappropriate. Um,
Well, okay, hold on. Like what I see selling really well at conventions from like people that I really like their artwork. When it comes to something cute though, that trumps sex selling all the day long.
cute and sex sells do not mix. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, they don't. But cute
Or they
goes
do mix, and when they do, that usually gets you arrested and
yes, but
rightfully so.
cute. But when you do cute, not sexy, but like just cute,
Yeah.
that seems to sell a lot too.
That's why I'm doing Neko buses. Because I think Neko buses would sell. I mean, right up until the point where, somebody decides that I need to not do this and they give me a C and D, but up until then, that will at least allow me to show what I'm doing and give you an idea. Okay, so we're hitting a certain consistency now where it's not beating up as much. So I'm thinking I may have just added too much water.
I think for cloth armament with very little support, I think the breasts look better now.
Let me see. Yeah, I mean, they're okay. But, I'm going to grump about the fact that you had to concede to larger boobs.
Well, they weren't that bad. Like all I had to really do was just basically reshape them to make them
Yeah.
look a little bit bigger. Um, that's it. That's all I had to do. The character itself has some pretty weird body proportions. Because the whoever created this character made this character in the '90s. And I don't know if anyone knows a lot about '90s style comic book art, but let's just say the women.
None of the artists were breastfed.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, I wasn't breastfed, but what I'm talking like is
Pepper,
like
I
no.
love you, man, but women aren't your thing, so there's that.
Well, no, I draw a lot of them, but
I
like
know, but
I
I mean,
draw. I when I draw them, it's like I don't know. It's from the mind of someone who's not attracted to them.
that's what I
So
mean.
like, I have no problem drawing like a topless woman that has had her breast removed due to cancer. Like I
Right.
have no problem with that.
That's what
But
I'm
some
saying.
people do.
I
I
know.
didn't realize that.
I know. But I said they weren't breastfed, and you're like, I wasn't breastfed. And I'm like, Pepper.
Well, I wasn't. It's the truth.
I know, but it's irrelevant.
Eh. Tomato, tomato.
The point was, it doesn't matter if you weren't breastfed. You're not sexually attracted to boobs anyway.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying.
if the type of female that actually seemed attractive to me was attracted to me back, I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's true of just about anybody. I actually think, honestly, legitimately, that all of us are somewhat bi. Even those of us that are cishet. You know what I mean? Like, I think that even those of us that are that, we are somewhat
So,
bi.
so Bill watched something, and it was someone talking about going on tea, and I found it to be the most hysterical and fascinating thing ever because I've heard this discussion before when people start tea, which is for everyone else that doesn't know, that's what they call testosterone in the
Uh-uh.
trans community. Um, and E is estrogen. Um, so he had started tea at the time, and let's just say like they weren't prepared for the overwhelming urges and emotions that it was going to put you through.
Yep. You get to go through puberty.
Yeah, so essentially what it was he was saying like while going through it, he was still attracted to men. And while going through it, it now became not just men, it pretty much was everyone.
Right. He became
And
super
so
bi.
that's what's so confusing when you're going through puberty as a male
Right. You don't
is
know what the heck you're supposed to be doing.
yes,
And
and
I
then
wonder if that's part of why our culture is so strict about it. You know what I mean? Like why men get clamped down on. I wonder if there
yeah,
was early on sort of a reaction to, wow, you're about to go through puberty, and that means you better be, only looking at girls and don't look at guys, and
well, I don't think it's that. It's like back in the day, I think what it was we have like I did a 23andMe test. I have a few family members that did a 23andMe test and shared their results with me. I actually don't have like they actually show how much genetic coding is similar to Neanderthals and cavemen in those tests to you. And out of all my family members, I actually have the lowest.
well, that explains so much, you non-Neanderthal person,
I
you.
know. But I have a cousin who has like 60% in common of, or like old DNA that from that time era. And I have another one that has has like around 50 something like that.
I don't mean to be pushing this too much, but that does seem like that's not how genetics works.
Well, no, what I mean is like these are markers that like they found in Neanderthal samples that still persist today. These
That's
aren't
what I
like
mean, but I mean,
ancient, but they're like
you
they're
should
older.
be like 20% if they're 60% at max. You know what I mean? Like that's not the way genetics works.
No, no,
If you're genetically related,
no. Because I have actually come across a few relatives that basically almost like 80%, but these are distant relatives. Like these are like third and fourth cousins that shared their DNA sample results with me. And some of them are like, yes, the DNA in common of Neanderthals and cavemen is like 80 something percent. You know, it's in common, but it's all genetics that are actually still alive and active in communities and in people's DNA.
yeah. But
overall.
what I'm trying to say is that that's not how genetics works. I mean, if
No, it's not.
actually
But
they're actually related to you,
like you told me to stop talking and get to your point. I have a point to make.
okay, yeah, get your
Okay.
point. And the point
Right?
may not be related to this at all.
Right. But here's the deal: the higher the percentage, the more strict to the social norms of heterosexual lifestyle along those lines.
Huh?
So the family members that basically I found through the app that are LGBTQ plus and they shared their results with me, they're around my percentage. Whereas everyone else that has a higher percentage of that basically is more heterosexual, like man, woman, married with kids,
Yeah, I
stuff
know
like
what you
that.
mean.
Yeah. So in my case, I'm just based off of what I'm looking at,
You're speculating.
I'm speculating that the whole thing with it is if it's on a genetic level, there could be, like, in some way, shape, or form, I am more open to something new because I don't share the same type of DNA as some of my relatives,
Hmm.
which is fine, which is probably good because I don't want to be everyone's brother when I want to have a relationship. But um, my point I was trying to make is
You think it's genetic?
I think on some level there are genetics at play. And when I was in my mid-20s, I did research a lot. I did research a lot, like about a study that was done in Italy with gay men that were trying to explain how they became gay.
Right.
Because by the way, this is a different country, not America. So they like themselves, like they were in a study where they were talking about like the effects of a hormone that would be secreted by the mother after the gender hormone was done to make the baby male or female. Um, they were hypothesizing like another hormone was injected into the embryo about sexual attraction. That's what they were trying to go for.
Mm-hmm.
And I read a lot of like different types of studies about these. But what I find fascinating is almost like 85 to 90% of all of these studies were strictly gay males. Not lesbians, not bisexuals, not anything else but gay males.
That's
People
because
who
gay
identify
males
as
are the
gay.
ones that are the most threatening.
Right. And that's what I found fascinating about it, because it's like when you were talking earlier about that, it seems like that is more strictly put on, and it's like almost like a primal level, like you need to do this because you must pass on the family line or something like that.
Mhm.
Like you need to have the genetic, but males have the most adaptable genetic lineage because every generation is not identical with males.
Well,
When you have children, yes, you have genetic markers that are same as your children. Get that? It proves that you're the dad. Yes, you have that. But your kid is not getting your exact DNA put on him. He's
well,
getting a
I
variation
feel
of your
like
DNA.
whatever that was that made that a thing
Huh?
is I don't know if we understood DNA internally. Um, like
Well,
we only knew DNA and chromosomes and stuff like that for the last about 200 years or so, and since we've been around for 300 million,
right, but I have also talked to
very possible.
I've also talked to a geneticist, so I've actually talked to
No,
them, and they
I
explained.
know, but what I'm saying is you can't say that Neanderthals, 400,000 years ago were like, but 23 chromosomes is mine and 23 is her. They're not going to
No,
know.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like I what my hypothesis about everything was I am looking at it as okay. I'm being shown that I have this percentage of DNA that is similar.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm
Um,
with that one. I don't know if I
yeah.
agree. And the only reason I will say that is because I think so. I remember one of my really, really close stop messing with the trash can cat. One of my really, really close friends from junior high. He came out in 2000 or 2001, somewhere along that line like that. It was probably even later than that. But we knew in junior high and high school, right? Wasn't a problem but it was a problem for him. He took some time to say that it was okay for him. Stop attacking that past. But he and I, since literally I've known him since junior high, he's part of the reason why I was able to overcome easily my prejudices that were inputted into me by the culture.
Hmm.
And for that matter, be friends with you today. I mean, or whatever. I don't know if I would not be friends with you, but I think I would probably still say all the stupid stuff that people who haven't quite gotten over it would say. um and one of the things that I had done was at some point in time I had found some report that was trying to find a genetic marker that indicated homosexuality.
Hmm.
And I was talking to him and I said, "Hey, this is so exciting." And he's like, "No, actually, it's not." And I'm like, "Well, why?" And he said, "Because people should accept people for who they are, regardless of."
Actually, the truth behind that study is actually far darker
Yeah,
than
I'm
people
sure. It
realize.
didn't, but the point that he was making was you should be accepted for being gay if that's a choice or if it's a biological. It shouldn't be,
Right.
you shouldn't need to find a biological thing to explain it away. That should just be okay. You can do that if you want. And that changed my view and opinion really quickly too,
Yeah.
because that's the same, because it's true. You should accept me for being a Trekkie. I chose to be a Trekkie. You know what I mean? There's
I
no
mean,
biological marker for
I
Trekkie in me.
accept you as being a Trekkie. I'm not gonna lie about it. It's
Right,
all good,
exactly.
you
Exactly. But I
know.
mean, but his point was that, and I'm like, oh, that's a good solid point. Especially since a lot of the warring factions here are religious. Like religious people choose to be religious,
Especially since a
and
lot of the warring.
oh yeah, you're not
Sorry,
watching me. You're watching me on
no,
the thingy.
I was watching you on the thing because Brent tagged me, and so it pulled up something. I'm sorry. No, continue.
And
I'm
so
just
so
take a
but
picture.
on the same token, I don't think I want to. I think on the same token, it would be difficult to explain away that weirdness by saying, "Oh, it's a genetic marker. They're more Neanderthal." Because the truth of the matter is, all of us need to stop doing that. You know what I mean? Like we all have
I
to.
I understand what you're saying, and I get
Okay,
the point that you're doing. That's
because
fine.
I'm wandering now at this point.
Yes, but you also have to understand. I have a lot of LGBTQ plus family members,
Sure.
and I saw a pattern. And what do humans do when they see a pattern? They try to use it as an explanation of why things are the certain way that they are.
Right, which is the
You
same
know,
thing with
I'm not
looking
saying that
for.
there's a, yeah, and I wasn't saying that there's a gay gene. However, the
No.
study that you're talking about, the that was trying to find the gay gene,
Yep.
that was actually a study to being done in a way to actually feasibly allow parents the option to abort a gay child before they were born.
Yes, I know.
And that is a study that basically a lot of LGBTQ plus people did not enjoy,
No, of
finding
course
out that it
not.
was actually a governmentally funded research.
But the point that I'm trying to get at is that's not only is it nefarious, obviously, but you don't want to find that out. You want people to correct, not if we assume
Yeah.
that human beings are capable of changing their outcomes in life, then we have to do that. We have to let them do that. We have to let them own up to and be responsible for their good and bad behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And
So, how do you think of these breasts?
and that's the quote of the day. Hang on real quick. I'm cleaning up a mess right here.
Brent can answer. Brent,
Brent's like, I'm not getting into this fight.
I'm not getting into any fight. I just want to know, do you like these breasts?
Right? That's all you needed to know is do you like these boobs? That's what you're after. Do you like these boobs? Let me see your boobs.
Do you like these boobies?
Yeah, see, those aren't bad. That's okay. They're not
I just grew
offensive.
it. I just grew it from maybe a high C to a low D.
Yeah,
That's pretty much all I did.
it's the quadruple Z's that mess me up. Okay. That is 4 cells that I've done during the show here. Certainly not bad. I'll do more of these this afternoon. I'll head out to. I got to do all the other stuff. Like I haven't spun up my red printer since Hexacon 2020. So I'm going to pull the red printer out and see if it'll even print. I have a replacement cartridge for it, which I didn't put in, and I'm really glad I didn't because it was low. The color cartridge was low after Hexacon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't want to replace the cartridge. So I was like, well, if I replace the cartridge, it might be a couple of weeks before another convention, because of course this was just before COVID.
Oh
I
yeah.
had no idea. So I didn't swap the cartridge out. So I've got a brand new cartridge for it over here in a box just waiting. So I'll have to pull it out and spin it up, make sure it still works, make sure it does its thing. So that'll be a thing. Anyway.
Yep. And I'm just
I think
waiting to hear back if I can start inking that.
I think that we are at a point with me here where I'm just waiting for cells to dry to put another coat on them.
I also got a new shirt, guy.
Uh-huh. Yep. Except that this show can't be an email. I was gonna.
No, the show can't be in an email. Although it would be interesting if we tried to do everything by email and just recorded an entire show like that.
Talk about phoning it in.
Yeah, I know. Like basically, like it would be like, the show could be titled "Having an in-depth conversation between two artists."
Right.
Um,
Oh, I got it. Speaking of t-shirts, check out my new D&D shirt. I don't usually wear black, but this one was a really good shirt, so I had to end up buying it.
Cool.
Yeah, because like it was cool. So, speaking of shirts, you brought up shirts, so I was like, hey, I also need to make sure today that this guy is all ready to go. I love this. Look at this. It's just like the iPad. It's so cute. It's almost like the yeah, well that's what I just said. It's just like the iPad. It's so cute. It's
And I
almost
can
like
I have something that I don't even have to magnetize it, just in case.
oh yeah, I'm actually gonna I put my pen in the little container that carries everything else.
Yeah. So no, I'm just okay.
Man, mail is about to get knocked out of what can be used here. I swear to God. Okay. Yeah, you want to talk about jackassery? I'm noticing all kinds of jackassery with Windows 11 because this is a brand new Surface. So it's got Windows 11 installed on it, and you cannot put Chrome in the Quick Start bar. It'll
That
only
seems
allow Edge in the
odd.
Quick Start bar, and I'm like, really? That's jackassery. It's really doing the get rid of all of your browsers and only use Edge crap, which they used to do back in the day. Part of the reason,
Part of the reason why I don't like Microsoft.
well, yeah, I mean but I mean Apple's the same way. I don't, I mean it's not any different. Safari is what you get, and you can try to put Chrome on there, but Safari's going to fight you all the way down, and then you'll finally get it, and then it'll be a pain in the butt. But they're making it more and more difficult every time. The only thing that does make me happy is I do like the Defender as a relatively decent um, virus check, or at least for someone like me who does not frequent porn sites or stuff like that, which would normally put me at a risk. So it's a decent one because, of course, every good virus checker is expensive. And now the
Yeah.
virus checkers have gotten into the subscription sounds like a great model. We'll make that work.
Dude, I started getting. I'm just like I'm an Apple user. I've been an Apple user for a very long time, and every single time I get an email or your McAfee message type deal is like going to die. I'm like, I don't have McAfee because it doesn't work on Apple.
Wow, Blender 3.
Blender 3.
Yeah, apparently Blender's at 3.1. I'm running 2.7, I think, on this computer. So I'm just making sure that I've got all the things that I need to do my comic books on here. Clip Studio is already installed, but now I need Blender and I'll need Daz Studio put on here. Otherwise, I can't. But if I get all of those, then I can just head over to, Starbucks over here and sit there and work on whatever I need to work on. It won't matter.
Awesome.
Because Blender means that I can build my models, and then Daz Studio means I can put them in scenes, and then Clip Studio means I can make the scenes, render the scenes out. We've got a lot of building to do right at the very beginning of this, but since this is something that I expect this comic will be running for many, many years, not just a week or two, but many, many years. I expect that I will still be working on with the same models, 5, 7, 10 years from now, because I was still using the same models to do Tamerlane, which I had built in 2005 for the 2017 version of Tamerlane. So I had made some minor tweaks to them, but nothing major. No changes to the modeling or anything like that. So that's one of the reasons why, even though Brent is a little like, hey, why are you still working on models? The truth of the matter is I built a lot of those models for Tamerlane in 05 and kept using them straight through to 2017. So they ran for 12 years on some of those models, which were built in Wings 3D, by the way. Ugh.
That's
This
an
is
old
a little teeny, lightweight, super easy to use 3D program, but it was all hard coded sort of crap. I mean, you'd have to put in a vertice and put in another vertice and put in another vertice, select them and make a face, and then put in another vertice and select those and make a face, and then put in another vertice and select those and make a, it's like had to be built hard coded sort of thing. Like it was brutal.
So me and Bill watched the new Moon Knight. I don't know if you have.
Nope. I'm at the moment super swamped with everything. So the only thing I'm really watching right now is Star Trek, because I am never going to not be watching Star Trek.
Well, all I gotta say is it's actually a pretty unique take on it.
That's what I've heard. A lot of people are saying it's different, and I like that. I think that's fascinating.
I told someone like last night, I basically was like, someone's like, what did you think of it? And I'm like, well, from someone who deals with a lot of mental health stuff, from that perspective, it's definitely a good thing to see the way that they did it. But overall, I mean, I do like how they're portraying it just based off of the first episode.
Right.
It definitely is not. It definitely is like, but I did say it's like it is a multiverse part of the thing. It's not what you read in the comics. That is for sure. Because the original Moon Knight was basically had died and then got his abilities from because his body laid at the foot of a moon god in an Egyptian temple.
Is there a moon god for the Egyptian temple?
I believe so. They actually have a name for him.
I'm like, I don't remember that one. I remember Isis, and I remember Bast, and I remember Ra, and I remember Anubis. And that's about it.
Yep,
I remember
Egyptian
Bast
moon
because
god.
it was like
The Egyptian moon god. It's spelled Khonshu.
okay.
So
Khonshu, Gesundheit.
Khonshu, but it
Gesundheit.
is. But what I will say is the lunar god Khonshu is a fictional character.
Well, yeah,
It's not real.
I don't know why you're quantifying that, but okay.
No, well, I'm like looking it up right now because I'm like, yeah, I don't. I mean, I know they have a lunar deity, yes, but I thought it was female, and I thought it was Bast, but
Okay, that's what I thought too.
yeah,
She's the
but
cat
this one's
goddess.
like straight up. Yeah, this one's straight up saying. But like when I go into it even more.
Speaking of boobs, by the way, Bast.
Boobs, what?
So The first
No,
time I
actually,
ever
Jeremy-
learned about Bast at all was when I got the D&D Monster Manual, yada yada yada, something something something, when I was like 16 or 15 or 14 or something like that. When I was right in the middle of boobs land, you know what I mean? Like when you're early on in that. And the picture of Bast that they had is of this woman who's got a cat head and she's topless. She's like got the what do you call things that are your boobs? Crying out loud. Anyway,
she had mega big titties.
no, she actually which someone actually liked.
You're cutting out, and now I can't hear you at all. You're cutting out. Guys, gone. What happened?
I don't know. No, we dropped.
Guys, gone. What happened?
Wow. We're what happening over and over and over. Wow, that was a lot of drop and repick up. I must be having some wonderful connection issues today.
There. I did a thing.
Well, except that I think this was on my well, no, I guess it's not on my side because it says I've got 4 green bars. Right? Ghost Hands like Raw got mad at you for dissing him. Spot on, Raw. Spot on, Ghost Hands. Spot on. That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. That was good.
Well, actually, so the thing I replied to Brent for, I'm sorry that it came in like I was replying to you, Brent, but essentially, I did find the actual lunar deity, which is the son of the creator gods in the Egyptian pantheon. So he is real, but I don't think he was worshipped like they depict in Moon Knight,
Right.
because he's part of a triad. So it wouldn't just be him; it would have been him plus 2 others giving a power to a mortal. So, however, what it seems like is Moon Knight has like multiple personalities. So.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
Actually, Ghost Hand, I've read a comic where, yeah, there's a comic called Lore of Olympus, and Persephone in the middle of the comic says, maybe I should run away and go to the Nordics. So they actually do know about other deities within their world.
While we have Ghost Hand here, Ghost Hand, we've been talking about the idea of switching to a night show because I went on ahead and signed back up at my driving school to be a teacher for driving. What would moving to 9 to 11 p.m. so just 12 hours flipped from this same show, everything's the same except flipped. What would that do? Would that be easier or harder for you to join the show? That's an important thing to note. So, Ghost Hand's one of the people who I'm most worried about, obviously. Oh, hey, Brian's here.
I didn't notice.
That may have been what was going on when we had all of those dropouts and everything going weird all of a sudden. That may actually have been Restream freaking out because Brian joined, which might have been exact because I didn't hear the ping that comes with you joining. So but we did have a freeze where pepper freezed up, pepper freezed up. I'm going to add that word to the English library now. And then we couldn't, like it said, connections were bad and all kinds of weird stuff happening. So I'll bet you that's what happened is you joined and freaked out.
Probably.
So
Restream was just like, nope, no
Nope,
more.
nope,
You
nope,
can't
nope.
do anymore. Can't do
Nope,
anymore.
nope.
Nope. This Brian asshole is joining. No, we can't handle this.
No, not anymore. We don't even like that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, trying to figure out which DAZ studio I want to install.
I got all of my paperwork filled out for
Probably be
tomorrow.
sleeping by then.
I have my check for the Department of Revenue made. I am ready to go.
Did you? Are you just going to hand it to them tomorrow? Is that your battle plan?
Well, I was going to mail it out today.
I'm going to mail it out today too. I just didn't know whether you had heard something about being able to hold on to it.
What are you guys talking about?
Tax license, sales tax license.
Oh,
So I'm going to make
I did mine like weeks ago.
I know we're stupid and we have problems and we have issues.
You guys do know that you have to renew it like by January 30th, right?
Only if you're actually out there.
Oh,
And
this
well,
is
then
the
I
first
stress
time
myself out.
so here's the thing. I used to have a Colorado state tax license with a TIN, but that's too much for what we do. And they have a lower tier that's easier to do. And that's what Brian and I are doing right now, which you just pay $16 and it covers 2 years of sales tax. And then you just report at the end of every show what you sold and you take like 2% of it and send them a check or whatever. There's a whole bunch of like little bits to it, but
I don't
get a TIN and get a sales tax license like I did before, at which time you have to report your earnings every quarter and you have to do all the paperwork and you have to fill out everything and you have to do, and it was a big hassle, especially when I wasn't even at the at conventions.
I didn't even know this existed until about a week ago when Guy sent it to me.
Right. So I'm actually excited about this because my TIN actually expired. And I had forgotten about that until we started doing this stuff. And I went and looked at it and then like my TIN's gone. And it's because I didn't do any work. I didn't bring any income in for like 2 years because COVID. So they downgraded my TIN and then just kicked me out of the system by saying you haven't reported your income in 4 or 8 quarters, so we're just going to assume you no longer exist, which is pretty accurate. I mean,
Yeah. I pay $19 for mine, and I get the TIN, and I get the one for events. And
right. But you also have to report every quarter or they chase you down.
No, I don't.
Then you don't have the same thing I had. You're not a small business.
I am technically a small business.
And you have to.
Guys, let me explain the process of how I got mine,
okay,
and then we'll go from there. I went to the tax office directly in Denver when I lived in Lakewood. I went up to the counter and I explained to them my situation. I actually have it documented that I only report once a year, and that's what I do. Directly to the tax office, there's a note in there that basically states that. So
in other words, you got a small business license, but you don't have to follow the small business rules, because I think you'd make a whole bunch of other small businesses really pissed off because they all hate the fact
I don't have to. They told me if I make less than $300 in sales tax a month, I can continue to do the small business route. However,
that's a different license.
Yeah, but the reason why I have it as 19 is I pay for the tax license if I have a brick and mortar and doing events at the same time. because technically my brick and mortar, when I got my license, was through my website. And that's on why I needed to have it.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is you have something that's closer to what Brian and I are putting in and
Yeah.
less.
It's
And
it's
you're
not
not
a
putting in you're
it's
not
not for
you're
a
not
big
going to
company,
do
no.
because
But
that's
I pay
exactly what I did was
yeah,
sign up for a small business tax license.
right.
And every quarter they were hounding me to give them tax information, and I had to go through every quarter and put 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, had to do it every quarter or they would hound me and they would send threatening emails of you're not following Colorado tax law and stuff like that. But that's what I was saying is that what Brian and I are doing is a different class. It only requires us to report if we made money, and it only requires us to pay when we get above $300 and yada, yada, yada. There's like a whole bunch of like exactly what you're talking about. So that's a different class
Yeah. Yeah.
of business license. So
Yeah.
you got the same thing we got.
I
Or we're
just
getting.
pay.
I just didn't.
I pay a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know why you're paying 19 though. It should be
I
16.
pay a little bit more because I have two types of licenses: one for internet sales and one for events.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know what that is? That's what you must have gotten it on the even numbered or odd numbered years.
Yeah, I did.
Because and I don't get this at all. It's $8 every even numbered year or odd numbered year, and it's $16 every even numbered year.
Yep.
And since Brian and I sadly are coming in at 2022, we get to have this every even numbered years, so we get to pay $16 for it for 2 years.
Oh,
You get to pay $8 for 2 years, but you got two of them, which makes it or $9 or whatever.
On top of everything, I forgot to renew it 2 years ago, so I had to pay for that renewal, and then I had to pay for a new. Like they basically yeah.
Yeah, tax. You right, exactly. We only get tax breaks when we start making more than millions.
Yeah,
Until
I know.
then, we have to pay everything.
I know.
We're supporting all of those multi-billionaires.
You have to justify, like, even when you report it, you have to justify like the actual earnings. Sometimes it's super, super hard.
Yep. Yeah. You're not wrong, Ghost Hand. You're not wrong. Well, maybe Ghost Hand, I don't know. I mean, and while I'm doing classes, I'm not going to be able to ever be here at 9, I don't think. But they're 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
So what I might do is move the show to 9 to 11 at night, and then do a second show when I'm not doing classes, that it's 9 to 11 in the morning. And then I'll just get 4 hours of work in for those days. That would be great. I mean, I see nothing wrong with having 4 hours worth of work in a day. I mean, usually I do 4 hours worth of work anyway. It's just that 2 hours of it's not broadcasted. Actually, I usually do a whole lot more than 4 hours worth of work, but you get the idea.
I want to point out what you're talking about, and I'm like reminding myself that I just watched the Jetsons on how George Jetson was always complaining about being told that he has to work 5 hours in a week.
So Ghost Hand, it will be exactly the same except 12 hours reversed. So right now it's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and it will be 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mountain Time. And this won't happen until June, or maybe May or June. So we've got quite a while to go. So we'll still be broadcasting like this because they've got to onboard me and they've got to go through all the paperwork and all of this stuff. But Brian's saying that it'd be better for him at night, to be at night. And Pepper's like, yeah, it'd be better for me too.
It would probably be better for a lot of the artists that you asked to come on the show, Guy.
Mm-hmm. I'd probably get more viewers.
And probably maybe Raph has no more excuses about not being up.
That's going to be midnight for you. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, so what we might do is, like I said, I might do a daytime show too, so that you can whenever I'm not broadcasting at night, so that you can stay with me. But it'll just be, of course, obviously, because 9 to 5, I'll be teaching class 9 to 5. So, and Brian's dancing. I don't even know what Brian's dancing about.
Because I had a song pop into my head when you said 9 to 5.
Yep.
Was you working 9 to 5?
Every day and night.
But yeah, I don't want to. I really don't want to lose Ghost Hand. But yeah, like I said, I think that would probably be a thing.
So before we get off the show, you made a post on Facebook and it looks like you're holding a business card.
You talking to me, or you talking to?
Talking to you, guy.
What did I do?
You said,
Yeah. Yes, I'm not holding a business card. Dr. Soong is holding a business card. And I called that number. Don't think I didn't.
Do you want to do a live call right now?
Yes, I'll call that number right now.
Hold on.
Wait, I'll do it. I'll do it. I got it.
Okay, you got it?
Uh-huh. So here we go. I'm gonna.
Hello, you have reached the Q Continuum. We are unable to get to the phone right now because we are busy living in a plane of existence your feeble mortal mind cannot possibly comprehend. Furthermore, it's pointless to leave a message because we, of course, already knew that you would call, and we do not care. Have a nice day.
Bill?
Oh my God, that is amazing!
Oh, Bill missed it. He's not there.
That's the most amazing thing ever.
That's what happens. So Q printed the card in the episode, and Soong picked it up and flashed it to the camera. So we're like, okay, you've either set it up or you're going to get some poor fool getting called all the time, because you put somebody's nope. They were smart. They covered it, and I just absolutely love it. Oh man.
I'm tagging Bill and reposting it because he needs to listen to it.
Well, he can come in here and I'll play it again.
Well, I think he's upstairs eating.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, but I've also named it Q. It's kind of hard to read, but that's where I've saved it on my phone.
Yeah.
So if you want to call Q, that's the number. He had his business card. That was the freaking awesomest, weirdest little Star Trek thing that I have seen in a long time. That was freaking funny, and I laughed so hard because, of course, all of the as soon as that went out, nobody said anything. Nobody from Star Trek officially said anything, but then all of the fans are like, "No, call it."
All right, well, hold on 1 second. I hear Bill.
I'll play it again for him.
So
come in, and you must hear this.
So, Bill,
Yeah.
last night in Star Trek Picard, there was a business card that was flashed on the screen with a phone number.
Yeah.
If you call the number, and I will call the number now, this is what happens.
Hello, you have reached the Q Continuum. We are unable to get to the phone right now because we are busy living in a plane of existence your feeble mortal mind cannot possibly comprehend. Furthermore, it's pointless to leave a message because we, of course, already knew that you would call, and we simply do not care. Have a nice day.
Nobody said anything. It never came. Nobody said anything about this from the official Star Trek website. Or from the Star Trek at all. They just printed this card, and I was like, "Oh God, some poor fool's phone number is on this card." and then all of a sudden, all the fans are like, "No, call it. No, call it. No, really, call it. And so I called at night. I was
you.
laughing so hard.
Nice.
It's so wrong, but so
Well,
beautiful at the same time.
well, it's kind of like what was it? The phone number for Ghostbusters was also made when the Ghostbusters movie came out. They actually had an answering an answering thing for it too.
Right?
So I mean, they're getting good. They're
Yeah, they
getting
figured
good.
it out.
So,
But I have saved that number, and it says just Q.
Yeah.
So if you type in Q, that's what you get in my phone now.
Nice.
It's like just call Q, where he will just tell you that he's not going to answer because you're pathetic. So if you ever feel like you're a little too egotistical, you can always call Q and have Q make you feel insignificant.
There's a lot of stuff out there that has stuff like that. Like, I think, what was it, Archer?
Uh-huh.
Like, had like a website that was posted, or like stuff. If you gathered enough of the information, you could go to it. And then there was like a old like Unix system or something. Yeah, you all use old commands in it, but you could like pick stuff up. There was not Stranger Things, but another kind of weird series like that,
Uh-huh.
where like you could access stuff. I forget, but yeah, there's always like hidden gems in certain series.
I love that. That was so freaking funny. Oh man, it just so funny. But I was anyway. That was the nice thing for.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's even funnier because like Pepper wasn't sure what I was up to. He's like, "So you were holding a business card?" I was like, "I wasn't holding a business card. Dr. Sue was holding a business card.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's an important thing here."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh man, because they are
well, how else are you supposed to get a hold of the Q?
right. Exactly. Well, it looks like a Q. So
If you want to get a
business
hold
card
of
looks like
Q, you have to go through an exploding star, obviously.
but yeah, the season 2 has been seriously full of rich pieces of they're really digging deep into lore of Star Trek. So we've got all kinds of stuff going on that's everywhere. It's all over the place. So just so you are
I saw
familiar,
it.
so when you get around to Picard season 2, it is full of awesome stuff.
Nice.
So okay, you can. I didn't mean to pull you away from work, and it's 11 o'clock anyway, so it's all time.
No, it's fine. I saw the time, so I was going to come in anyways and say hi.
I appreciate it. We love you, Bill. We'll see you later.
See you later.
Okay,
Bill.
and Ghost Hand, I appreciate you trying to tune in from time to time. The good news is, I mean, technically speaking, it will all be recorded. And like I said, I'll do daytime ones when I'm not at school teaching. But I think what I'll do is probably just do a nighttime and a daytime one, and then I'll just do daytime broadcasts during the day, and then you can catch those. And I'll try to keep you up to date before I go off air on the days, so you'll know that I'm coming back, at this week or whatever, and you can just write it on your calendar. But thank you for joining me, and thank you for joining me, Brent, and thank you for joining me, Brian and Pepper. And Brian's like, I just got here. I'm like, yeah, I know.
I got here 30 seconds ago.
Right? Exactly. But the show's over, so there's nothing we can do.
Yep.
And Brent's like, I will always be here. That's all right. I appreciate you always being here, Brent. Anyway, thank you all for joining me, guys. And remember, to everybody else, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye. Computer, good night.